In the 80s, this would have been a whole day of BMX fun. At least until the board broke. Then you take the two pieces and stack them and just make the ramp a lot steeper. Today's kids will never know that before Grand Theft Auto, there was this. I'd forgotten all about these until I came across this photo. Only real ones know about this combo. Bananas and cornflakes. This is a great combination. This is how I ate cornflakes growing up, and it's how I eat cornflakes still today. As a matter of fact, if I don't have a banana in the house, I'm probably not going to eat cornflakes for breakfast that morning. The boat used as the SS Minnow in Gilligan's Island was a 1964 wheeler with a cruising speed of 12 knots, which meant they couldn't have traveled more than 41.5 miles. Now I'm starting to doubt if this show was even real. When I was young, I thought this was the epitome of wealth and sophistication. I do remember those commercials, but I don't think I ever ate it before. Matchbox cars in the carry case. You were pretty cool if you had a full case of cars. I think I actually liked Matchbox cars better than I did Hot Wheels. It seemed like they had a little more variety and maybe more modded type cars or something, like some of those that's here in this case. Our TVs were never stolen in the 80s. That was one good thing about these super heavy wood panel TVs. Nobody certainly wasn't going to walk out of the house with them pretty easily, let alone walking out of the stores with them. Now this game is called Dodgeball, and if you play your cards right, the person you hate the most will be crying like a little within minutes. Dodgeball bring back some memories. I actually threw one so hard one time that it hit the bleachers and popped. Everybody just kind of stopped and stared at me for a minute. I just found my old boombox in the attic. Does anyone have 22 size D batteries I can borrow? That was one of the worst things about all the old electronics. They always took C and D batteries. And they always took at least 4, if not 8, and sometimes even 12. Which back then, batteries weren't that bad a price. Have you guys seen the battery prices today? I mean, they're crazy. They just keep getting worse and worse all the time. You can pay $25 and get like 12 AA's or something. Electric Avenue closed. When you're so bad at catching Smurfs, you're forced to find a new job. I have to say that is a pretty good description there. He really does look like him, doesn't he? Who knows what his name was on the Smurfs? Put it down in the comments. Steve Martin is 78, which is crazy because I thought he was 78 in 1989. There is a few 80s actors that never seem to age. Most of them always seem like they were old back then though. And yet they're still old today, they just haven't changed any. This is what a serious mixtape looked like. A t-shirt can't cause blind rage. The t-shirt causing me blind rage. The Fisher-Price toy record player. Apparently they started making these again. I think you can even buy them on Amazon. This was a snack when I was growing up. Yeah, you could pick a tomato off the vine, put a little salt on it, and eat it. My kidnapper's returning me after listening to me talk about 80s movies and music for 12 hours straight. The couches of my childhood. How many can you name? I'm gonna be honest here. I want to know how much. I'm still tired from yesterday's tired. Today isn't looking so good, and I've already used up tomorrow's tired. I hear that. Sucks, but it happens a lot of days. Scientist, you can't hear a picture. 80s kids, we gave my dog a mullet. That's just funny. I hope they named him MacGyver. When trying to sneak a piece of candy, this was the loudest lid. Yes, I can confirm. I'm this old. It went well with all the other wood grain furniture and walls. You might be old, but are you this old? Yep, California raisins. I used to collect these. Kids today have no idea what PE meant for us back in the day. Who's old and remembers this? Drop it down in the comments. 1980s bling. History teacher. Can anyone tell me an important medieval battle? Me. We're having company. Go get the fancy cups. This is what us kids might have went and got. But this isn't what our parents was asking for. Who remembers the McDonald's LT? Lettuce and tomato on this side stays cool. The beef patty on this side stays hot. They need to bring this back, as well as the quality of the food that they had back then versus now too. Might have been cheap food back then, but at least it was still real. What 80s song would you be listening to driving down this road? I'd say one that nobody is saying is On the Road Again by Willie Nelson. That moment when the music you listened to in high school is being played on the oldie station. This old Plymouth is for sale in a junkyard. But for some reason, no one wants to take it home and restore it. If you know what that reason is, put it in the comments. Seriously? I step out of the garage for a minute, and these scavengers are already stealing parts. Face it, Dunkin' Donuts tasted a lot better back when Fred baked them. The G.I. Joe aircraft carrier. I don't think I ever saw one of those in real life. Michael Myers, Jason Voorhees, Freddy Krueger, and Candyman. They say in the 80s I was the best game system around, but I have no memory. I don't think that most kids today could handle the fact that they couldn't save the game, and when they ran out of lives, that was it, the game's over, you gotta start all over from the beginning. The perfect snowman doesn't exist. I have to admit, that is a pretty good one.
You've been hit by a smooth criminal.
Dave and Chainsaw from the movie Summer School. Only in the 80s could a kid turn into a wolf in the middle of a basketball game, and they finish the game. This is basically true. You could have probably broke your leg in the game, and the coach would have been like, "You're all right, just walk it off. We only got 30 seconds left, get back in there." The reason it's called candy corn is because if you stack it up like this, it looks like a corn. I can tell whoever wrote this has never lived on a farm or even grew a garden. It looks like an ear of corn or a corn cob. I think they forgot a word or two there. However, with that said, I never knew this. It does make a little more sense now when you see it. Although the stuff still tastes awful. I don't know who likes candy corn. Who remembers Choose Your Own Adventure book? Me watching reboots of my favorite childhood movies that had nothing wrong with them in the first place. That's true. Apparently they can't make new movies, so they took the old good movies and remake them into a new watered down PC and all the other garbage version. The good old days. Yeah, you didn't have to buy all these big racetracks and everything. You just go out and make your own little track. Remember when typing was a high school class? Yes I do. That's how I learned to type. And all the keys on the typewriters didn't have any writing on them. They were just blank. So not only did you have to learn how to type, you had to figure out where the keys were to start with. The first day that I walked into class, I saw that, and I looked around the class and I saw a big poster board on the wall that was a picture of a typewriter. So I went over and I sat down at the typewriter that was right below that, because I knew most likely we was going to get assigned seats, and a lot of teachers would assign you to just wherever you happen to sit the first day. And that's what happened. So it was easy for me just to look up on this poster and at least know where all the keys were. I'm this old. Rick Moranis is the star of Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. He became a stay-at-home dad primarily to take care of his 2 children after his wife passed away in '91. Let's take a moment to appreciate this star who had his priorities straight. I actually didn't know that his wife passed away back then, but how many people in Hollywood would actually put aside their career in order to stay home and take care of their children? Very, very few. Most of them would pass them off to some private school or whatever. Polaroid, the first instant camera. Yeah, but this was usually only used on special occasions. And you only had, 12 pictures in a pack of film? Something like that. When you break into someone's house to rob them, but they're watching DuckTales. I remember being attacked by a giant screaming rainbow, but it was just technical difficulties. And not only does today's generation not know what this was, they don't even know what static was. Mae Castell, who played Aunt Bethany in Christmas Vacation, was also the voice of 1930s cartoon character Betty Boop. I didn't know that. Yeah, these were pretty popular back in the 80s. Apparently they're making them again, too. Growing up poor. Sandwich bread. Hot dog bun. Hamburger bun. Garlic bread. What's wrong with any of these? They all work. You've heard of Elf on a Shelf. Now get ready for a Goomba on a Roomba. That gives the Roomba eyes. Might keep your dog away from it. Name a singer or band that makes you immediately change the station. The Eagles were right. We're all just prisoners here of our own devices. Sean Penn looks like all Three Stooges put together. They're not wrong. I feel sorry for anyone who never tasted chicken that came out of this. And my mom made the best fried chicken in these for years. Eventually, she started making them in a deep cast iron skillet. I bought her an air fryer here a couple years ago now. It does pretty good too, though. Only true Taco Bell connoisseurs of the 80s remember the enchilito and those old school black olives. I hate olives. I don't care what it's on. 80s childhood trauma starter pack. Do you ever forget to hide your expressions for a minute? And then you're like, whoa, I did not mean to make that face out loud. Sometimes, yeah. Not often. Are you taking the red pill or the blue pill? I like all of them, but I'd have to go with the blue pill. Here's an example of the original William Shatner mask that was transformed into the iconic Michael Myers mask of 1978. The eye holes were made bigger, hair combed out, and then it was painted white. Boom, history was made. I knew about this before, but I never saw them compared side by side. Back in my day, this was our iPad. I'd wear these things out until they just basically stopped working, like it never would erase fully. Kids today don't know this setup used to have the whole house jumping. Yeah, I had a Pioneer system at one point. Yeah, if you ever need to write a note to someone or a letter to somebody, and you don't want the younger kids being able to read it, all you gotta do is write it in cursive. Because apparently the younger generations not only can't write in cursive, but they can't even read cursive. I will admit, with this example here, the first part of it looks like this person was about 3/4 of the way to becoming a doctor. Beer cans and Matchbox cars offered a solid start for any kid wanting to collect in the 70s and 80s. I think I actually had some of those Matchbox cars there. This is someone who's making some of the most iconic scenes from the Tom and Jerry cartoons. I am always in a rush to get home, so I can do absolutely nothing. Getting the Atari 2600 was one of the best days of your life. My neighbors were throwing this out yesterday on their curb. They were throwing this out. I'm sure they could have put it on eBay and at least got a few bucks out of it. Who remembers covering their hands in glue just so that they could peel it off? Yeah, you'd put it on your hand, and after that layer dried, you put on another layer and maybe one or two more. And then you try to peel it off in one whole piece. Our GPS in 1984. You guys can read that if you want to. But yeah, that's pretty much how we gave directions to somebody. Kids today want cell phones. We wanted this. I had one of these. And these phones is what started the clear electronics trend. It ended up branching off into a whole bunch of stuff like boom boxes and a whole bunch of different electronics. Gen X pro tip. If you see this on the ground during your Hawaiian vacation, do not make a necklace out of it. The moment that my childhood was ruined. For as many of the 69 Dodge Chargers that they destroyed during the filming of the Dukes of Hazzard, I wouldn't have thought that they actually done any of the stunts this way. City guys will never understand the fun of running here as a child. Who remembers when McDonald's had a full-service birthday party? Nowadays, McDonald's only does catering for weddings. And I'm not kidding. You can look it up. We're this old. How many people can tell me what this is? When I win the lottery, I won't tell anyone. But there will be hints. Meet the DeLorean bed. I've seen a lot of Back to the Future memorabilia and all kinds of other things. A lot of replica stuff. But I've never seen this one. The bumper and the headlights and everything look pretty good. Even the fenders and wheels. I honestly wonder if that isn't actually stainless steel. And another question is this like a one-off that somebody built? Or is this like a commercial production thing that you can actually buy? I don't know. I never saw or heard about this until this photo. This is akornzstash signing off. Smash that subscribe button and check out my other videos for more memes stored in the akornzstash. I thank you all for watching, and I hope this video has made your day a little better.